Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Here You Are podcast. This podcast is about life's journeys, big and small. I'm your host, Alex Wiseman, and together we are going to explore stories of resiliency, growth, self-discovery, hope, and everything in between. This passion project comes from a deep belief that storytelling works. And sometimes we need to hear from someone who has a story even somewhat similar to ours that we're going to be all right. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's dive in together.
I have been fortunate to know her for over 10 years, and I'm so grateful to call her a friend. And I want to invite Suzie to share anything now, if there's anything that you want to say before we get chatting about what we're here to talk about today.
I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Crazy,
Yeah.
eh?
10
Mhm.
years. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
10 years of wonderful interactions with Alex.
Yeah.
Alex is like just such a wonderful, lovely person. And I'm so grateful that I get to have you in my life. I'm so grateful that you came to me and that you would even, you would consider me to talk and share my story and stuff like that. That means the world to me.
Oh,
Um,
well, likewise.
yeah. Yeah. I'm super excited and obviously, I'm feeling kind of vulnerable because it's going to be a vulnerable time, but I'm here for it.
Mm.
So yeah,
That's that willingness, right? So when you are vulnerable and you are willing and you are like just curious about what can happen in these spaces, it takes so much courage. So I have to commend you. And yeah, let's just chat like we have
I'm just
many
rash.
times
I'm just a rash
over the
person.
years. Let's do it.
I'm
Let's do
like
it. So
just an impulsive rash person. It's like, oh man,
that's
you're so
okay.
courageous. I'm like, no, I'm just impulsive and, and silly.
Yeah, we're pretty patient with this process because full disclaimer, I don't know how to be a podcaster or an interviewer or in anything. I didn't go to school for any of those things, nor did I take any formal education in any capacity on it. So
Right.
you're courageous for trusting.
Dude, I'm in the same boat where it's just like, do you express yourself regularly? It's like, yes, in private.
Oh,
Like where I
and
can
here we are.
verbal diarrhea all over my clients and it stays in the room and that's
Yeah,
it. Now we're gonna
and
put
here
it
it
out
is.
there.
We're gonna put it out there, and we're gonna see what
We're
happens, and
gonna put it
that's a
out
really
there.
beautiful thing.
I'm just happy to share time with you.
Yeah,
Always, always,
likewise.
always.
Likewise. Okay, so let's get started.
Okay.
Why don't you start by sharing a little bit about who you are? Outside of any diagnosis, what do you want people to know first about you?
Uh, I guess I would just want people to know that I'm just your general kind of artsy fartsy person. I am a local artist. I've been tattooing in the community since 2009, which makes me very old.
No.
And and yeah, I'm an artist, I'm an illustrator. I'm a bit of a clown. I'm very, I like to have a good laugh. I have a very dry sense of humor. I'm a cat person. I love my friends. I try to be a good friend, try to be a good sister, try to be a good
Mhm.
partner. And yeah, I love nature and I go camping sometimes. But yeah, I have a lot of interest in psychology, so that's something that I'm looking into all the time. And yeah, honestly, I just really love connecting with everybody
Mhm.
and getting like the privilege to get to know people, getting the privilege to spend time with people when they want to share back with me. And yeah, that's really what like fires me up and stuff.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
you have like as a tattoo artist, and I think this is true for a handful of professions such as, hairdressers and stylists and the like, you really do find yourself in a role as a listener because
Yeah.
people come sometimes physically vulnerable with you, maybe tattoo, like,
Very.
revealing parts of their body that aren't always revealed. But then also you spend lots of time just in the chair with each other and
You
you're
do.
hearing all kinds of stories. And something that you said just stuck out to me so much, the word privilege. It's a word that I hold so near and dear to my heart, and I very much see my role in the world as a therapist and as an educator at times is such a privilege, and so really beautiful to hear you feel that way as well.
Absolutely. Like if somebody wants to share with me, if somebody wants to be in that vulnerable space with me. I've helped people process trauma
Mhm.
through art, and
Mhm.
that's a gift. It's a
It
gift. I
is.
mean, it's awesome to do cool stuff as well, and that's totally exciting, and I really get a lot out of that as an artist, and I get just so much out of it when people come to me to help them express things, or they want to make something visible that was invisible. We
Mhm.
deal with so much of that stuff,
Mhm.
just on a trauma basis, on a mental health basis, and that is a gift when
Mhm.
people come to me and they want to trust me with that.
Yeah. Well said. What do you feel at this time made this feel like the right time to talk about your journey?
Well, it seems to be kind of coming up a little bit more in conversation. Like I'm hearing, like celebrities are starting to kind of come out with it. It's starting to become a little bit more visual, starting to become a little less hidden, a little less invisible as a an illness, a disorder. I am hearing about people getting diagnosed more often, and I've done a lot of work on myself over the last couple of years, and I finally feel like I'm at the stage where I don't need to hide like I used to. I used to be very closeted about my disorder, very ashamed of it.
Mhm.
And I don't feel quite like that anymore. I feel like I've done enough work and enough healing to be okay with it, and to talk about it, and be a lot less a lot less secretive about it when it comes to my life. I mean, I think mental health is so important, and I think it's really good to speak out about it and be visual about it, and stop that need to be hidden when
Mhm.
it comes to your disorder. And you're kind of like being afraid of the stigma and all that kind of stuff. And this is me taking my step
Yeah.
forward into it.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome, and we appreciate you for doing that. So, for listeners, who know nothing about BPD, borderline personality disorder, how would you describe it in your own words? Not the clinical stuff, but Susie's words.
so I'm not going to use my own words, but
Use whatever
because
words you like.
there are some that have been spoken that they just really paint a better picture.
Yeah.
This is definitely something that is sort of like, if you look up like what's it like to have BPD, and I've heard it explained as having no emotional skin and being covered in third-degree burns. And it's like everything gets in. Everything gets in. Anything can set you off. And when you feel it, you're not feeling it at 100%, you might be feeling it at like 150%. And even if it's disproportionate to the situation, it's still your reality. And it comes with a lot of pain. It's a very painful thing. BPD is, it's not brought on by having a lot of happy experiences. It's
Mm,
like happy
yeah.
happy kids don't grow up to have necessarily BPD. Like it takes a lot of trauma. It takes a lot of repeated trauma to develop this pattern of behavior. And I would say for me, it feels like I'm in a storm. I'm always in the storm, and I'm always on the verge of getting swept away,
Yeah.
and doing everything I can to keep a foothold in this storm that's just constantly going. You wake up and it's there, and you go to sleep and it's there, and you're trying to be human in the middle of it. But I don't know if that answers the question, but
It so does, yeah, and you're
does
being so human. Yeah, you're being so human in
okay.
this moment by sharing such a real experience that I think is going to resonate so deeply with people who get it,
Oh,
because we can hold space for each other and we can hold steady and listen and read about and consume information on, but there is a particular level of understanding that comes from someone who has been there, done that, and is living that
yeah,
truth, and so I think that the whole point of us getting together and me wanting, to hold space for anyone's stories is that someone out there will hear that and be like, "Whoa, I feel really seen," or "I feel acknowledged or validated in even the tiniest way because that counts, that matters.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
really hope so. I mean, if it reaches one person, that's plenty,
yeah, beautiful.
you know?
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, no, totally understand. Do you wanna share a little bit about what getting diagnosed looked like? Was it, would you label it a relief or a shock or something else?
We're gonna call it something else. So,
Okay.
um, it was like, I had a lovely counselor,
Yeah.
who's retired now. I had her for about, like over 10 years.
Mhm.
And I feel like it was after the first couple of years, she sort of, we were having a session. She was like, "So, did I talk to you about like the personality disorder thing?" And that was kind of how it was brought up. And I was like,
All
"No,
casual.
like, no, 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 we didn't talk about that."
Yeah,
And no offense if she ever hears this, I could be
yeah.
remembering it wrong. My memory ain't the greatest, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, no, no, we did not approach that. And she read me the list of symptoms, and there were 9, and I had all 9. I
Okay.
had all 9 of them, and I was like, "Well, that's me."
Yeah.
And it was just like,
I got 9 out of 9.
"Okay,
Perfect on the report card here.
great, yeah, A plus plus on
Yeah,
the BPD symptoms, great." It's like,
right.
"Well, what's next?"
Right, what's next? Yeah.
Yeah, what do I do with that? So, I mean, on the one hand, it was kind of awful to find out that I'm included in this sort of, this particular group of people where you go online and you look it up, of course, you always do.
Mhm.
And then there was these awful stories about these
Right.
people, and so it was like, "Oh God, okay, so what is this? Is this me?" And then on the other hand, it was such a relief to find out that I could call it something,
Right.
and now I can
Giving
do
it a
something
name.
about it.
Yeah, giving it a name and then perhaps a bit of
Yeah.
a path forward.
Oh my God. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, being in the middle of a ocean, in the middle of a thunderstorm,
Mhm.
and being sucked underwater, and, just being like, I have no idea where I am or what this is. And somebody says, "Oh, it's okay. You're in the middle of a tornado," or
Oh,
something like that. And you're
yeah.
like, "Oh, of course I
Okay.
am.
Right.
Of course. You know what I
Just
do?"
tail flying by.
Yeah. They're like, "Yeah, here's a boat over here. That's what you should be doing, is getting on this boat." It's just like, great.
Right.
Okay, cool. Now that I know I'm in this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that was a terrible example. So anyways, but
No, I don't know. I can understand what you're saying. I don't think it's
okay.
terrible. I got you. I got you. Hey,
Oh my gosh.
that's your that's your reality, your perception,
Everything's gonna
and
be boat. It's all gonna be
that's
boat
fine. We
analogies
are
this
going
whole time.
nautical theme.
I'm
We are
going
gonna
sailing. We're going mental health sailing. Get
Oh,
ready. I
you
have no
know
idea how to drive.
yeah, I use a sailing reference all the time when I'm
Do
explaining
you?
therapy to new clients, and it's funny because I don't know anything about sailing. I do think it's
Right?
lovely looking to
Have you
watch.
ever have you ever
No.
seen my chest tattoo? Because it literally has like a boat on it.
There you go. Well, here it is, full circle.
The boat. The boat shows up again.
In the boat, we are back. We are so back.
Be like, let's just go back to the boat, Alex. Whenever we get
Yes.
lost, we'll just go
Yeah.
back to the boat
All
analogy.
aboard.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Ah,
so before you had the words for it, like before this conversation with the counselor and the list of 9 symptoms, before all that, how did you explain this to yourself or how did you
mm.
conceptualize it?
Um, I'm a broken person, and I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I remember going to see one of the first psychiatrists that I had, and it was like he sort of asked me all these questions, and I was like, I remember just sort of sitting there quietly in the office, and I was like, there's something really wrong with me, isn't there? Like there's something really like broken in me. Like I felt it my whole life that there's something wrong. And yeah, it just felt like a bad person. Like I was a broken bad person, and I couldn't stop,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Mm,
I didn't want to be that person.
right.
I was good. I am a good person.
Yes, you are.
Um I couldn't stop, and I didn't know why I was stuck,
Mhm.
why it
And
was always
so
like that.
And so I'm understanding that feeling of relief from the diagnosis and the next steps. It offered you a little bit of an
Yeah.
invitation and
It's
away from that thinking.
right? It's like
Mm.
having depression and, waking up feeling awful and then being like, "Oh, it's depression. Great.
Mm. Mhm.
Okay. Now
Mhm.
I have something. Just give
Mhm.
me
Yeah.
something."
Just let me name it something. Because then that can externalize it even for a moment, and that's easier said than
Yeah.
done with any diagnosis, but I'm able to say, "Oh, that's that," not
Well,
feeling so entrenched in the experience.
yeah, it's like naming a demon,
Mhm.
where you're just sort of like,
Mhm.
there's this demon that's inside of me.
Right.
And, but giving it a name, it's sort of like, they always say like it
Yeah.
takes away the power. And that's
Yeah.
how it felt with this, where it's like, there's this, this thing living inside of me and I have no idea what to call it.
Yeah. And that
There it
gave
is.
you a name. Did anyone get it wrong first? Like, were there other diagnoses or dismissals or
I think that most of it was sort of like, you get I can't say comorbid. That's for the life of me.
yeah, comorbidities,
Um,
you got it.
comorbid. So
Yeah.
yeah, ADHD,
Mhm.
anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, depression, and mild OCD, and then the BPD didn't come up until I ended up with that counselor like years and years later.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Okay. And then let's talk a little bit about subtypes, if that's cool with you. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
there are
yeah.
how many? There's like four, I think.
Yeah. So I know that when you and I talked about prepping for this, we talked kind of about the quiet versus the self destructive, like the contrast between those and how I think some people picture BPD very much one way loud, explosive, chaotic.
They do. So
What,
that
yeah. What did they
one,
miss?
yeah, the quiet BPD, I would say I think there's like impulsive, petulant. The other one, the quiet one, which has another name as well, and, that's also called, like, kind of high functioning BPD.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's, like, impulsive and then
Hmm.
self-destructive, I think.
Hmm. It's
So
impulsive, discouraged, petulant, and self destructive.
thank you. Okay, so
Yeah.
discouraged is the other name for quiet.
Discouraged. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, what do they miss? They miss, they see all that explosiveness, all that explosive anger, all that explosive, kind of over the top chaos, destruction. I've seen it myself. I've seen people smash windows and scream, like, just scream bloody murder. I've
Hmm.
seen the cops get called on
Hmm.
people that are suffering, and they can't, and they need to project it outside of their body instead on the inside. Quiet is somebody that you wouldn't even know it was there.
Hmm.
Like, you could sit in a room with a couple people, and this is something I experienced. I was in a room with people, we didn't talk about our diagnoses, and I had no idea that anybody else had it. I mean, they could have been just doing a very good job of masking at the time, but I mean, I think that what they miss is that person taking that world of anger and hostility and rage, they do call it BPD rage, and turning it in on themselves.
Mm.
That's where all that goes, and it just turns into this constant pain, this constant self-criticism. You're in so much pain all the time. You're hurting yourself. You're abandoning yourself, you're hurting yourself. All that just gets turned inwards. It's like the same amount of rage. It just doesn't go out. It goes in. So if you can imagine, like, yeah, somebody screaming and breaking a window or smashing all their stuff, sitting there doing absolutely nothing and doing it all on the inside of their body,
Right. Right.
you know?
That's that quiet or that
Yeah.
discouraged
And
presentation.
these
Yeah.
people are so sensitive. They're so sweet. They're so emotionally intelligent.
Mhm.
They're so kind, and a lot of times it's like, yeah, they're just hurting,
Yeah.
right? They're hurting. They don't want to hurt anybody else,
Right. And would you
right?
say that's for those who are self-destructing in some capacity, would you say that's the difference between what people see and then what's happening underneath is that they're just in pain?
Well, the self-destructive is also turning inwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the self-destructive type. That's still all internally focused, where, they get a lot of that suicidality and stuff like that. When you get into, like, the impulsive and those other loud types, that's sort of like that really bad stigma that we get, like, kinda painted. That's the picture. People don't wanna look at the quiet picture. They want the exciting picture, right? They want the one with the drama. And, we definitely bring the drama, even when you're quiet, like, it gets out. There's only so much that
Oh,
you can take before that pain starts to get out on other people.
right.
And you still have big reactions. You still get angry just like anybody else, but there's just yeah, I feel like the quiet tends to have a lot of self-control. They also
Yeah.
tend to lean on codependency. They
Mm,
tend to be very needy and stuff like that. So I think that there's just a larger focus on the fear of abandonment
mhm.
symptoms and stuff like that when you're dealing with quiet as opposed to the other one where it's just this explosiveness.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't yeah, I
Yeah,
just does that help?
that makes complete sense. And would you say it's possible for people to move between them? Between, say, the discouraged slash quiet and the self-destructive, or to live in one more than the other? And if they do move between them, is there a trigger for that shift?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's triggers all the time.
Mhm.
You got 24/7 triggers, depending on the person. I mean, everybody's on a spectrum. Some people aren't
Right.
gonna be as massively triggered. Some people are gonna be triggered like, and they're just gonna lose it. Like for a lot of us, we're 0 to 10
Mhm.
in like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Like you're on that top of that roller coaster so fast,
Mhm.
and like when you're happy, you're euphoric. You're in a
Yeah.
dream. It's like it's the best day. You feel amazing. When you're sad, when you've been like, you're triggered back into that sadness, or you're lonely, or you're feeling that emptiness, you're at the bottom. You're absolutely suicidal. I mean, not absolutely as in like you can't just be sad, but like
Mhm.
I know for me personally,
Mhm.
um, if I was down, I wanted to be dead.
Right.
If I was up, I loved life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that sounds pretty harsh, but
That's a reality that doesn't have to sound we don't have to
it was
label
my
what it sounds
reality.
like.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that was mine.
Yeah. If someone listening to this were to recognize themselves in perhaps the quiet version of this, what do you want them to know that maybe took you a longer time to learn?
I definitely would want them to. I know it sounds terrible because like the fear of abandonment and that feeling of loneliness and emptiness. There's so little that really puts a stop in that. Especially like if you're not in a relationship. Actually, relationships are what tend to set BP off. Sorry, BPD
Mm.
off. Right?
Mhm.
Like relationships trigger it. They trigger the onset of the symptoms. Doesn't mean you still can't feel desperately lonely and stuff, but yeah, for somebody with quiet BPD, I guess I would just sounds terrible. You have to believe you're not alone,
Mhm.
you know? You have to trust that you're not alone, and there are other people that are out there. There are programs that are available. There's help out there, and it's free.
Mhm.
You don't have to do this alone. You're
Mm.
not stuck. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not a monster or a bad person because this is living inside you all the time.
Mhm.
Um, it's just like you are so worth, being loved, you know? It's like this does not mean that you can't have a normal life and be loved
Yeah.
and,
Wow.
you are deserving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really beautifully said. And I think that's an important message of all things to know that one, you're not alone and you deserve the most.
You can have hope. It's okay
Yeah.
to hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. What would you say when we talk about stigma and we've I think skimmed that a little bit, but when we really look at it, what do you think is the worst thing that you've either read or heard about people with BPD?
Probably that they're manipulative.
Mm,
Um, yeah, they just manipulate, cause chaos. They'll sort of do anything to just yeah,
yeah.
that manipulation idea.
Hmm.
They're violent, and you should run. You should get as far away from them as possible.
Yeah.
They're just these monsters.
Hmm. Why do you think that BPD is so stigmatized, even within the world of mental health clinicians and providers and things like that? What, I mean, our best guess is all we can offer. Maybe you've got real experiences. Either way, why do you think there's such stigma? And of course, more importantly, what is the cost of that?
Well, I feel like the cost of stigma is that people don't ask for or receive help.
Hmm.
Like that is the overall cost
Hmm.
is you give up hope on yourself, you don't seek out help, you don't try out every option that you have, and you start to believe that like the system is against you and that you're stuck like this. And when you think you're stuck like this, like you're gonna, like losing that hope, feeling like you don't like like there's no way out. You feel like you're trapped. I've had, I've known some people that are like they just don't think that any medication's going to help. They don't think any therapy's going to help. BPD in the past in the 60s and stuff like that, it was considered untreatable. It was untreatable. There is nothing that you can take for BPD. They don't have a magic pill that relieves your symptoms. You can try a cocktail. You
Hmm.
can look for something that's a mood stabilizer, and that can really help. That's helped me significantly. That's helped me.
Yeah.
Just getting on the right combination of mood stabilizer.
Hmm.
And yeah, but like, yeah, it just, there's so much invalidation of somebody's experience that I think a lot of people experience in counseling, where
Hmm.
like until they find the right counselor,
Yeah.
where they're kind of like, they're just trying to like train them not to think this way and that kind of stuff. And this
Hmm.
person is just feeling invalidated, going like, I I know that these feelings are not appropriate for the situation. It's like I'm not stupid. Like
Hmm.
oftentimes these people are extremely intelligent
Hmm.
and sensitive and stuff like that. And it's like, and they don't feel heard. They don't feel seen. They don't feel like their experience is validated. They just feel like everybody's saying like, oh, you're overreacting. And it's like, my feelings are real to me. I have to feel them. I have to live in this body with this. It's like, don't tell me they're not real. And they get angry, right? They start to get really angry. They get angry at their therapists.
Hmm.
The splitting happens, right? So the splitting is
Hmm.
black and white thinking that we experience. Obviously, not just in BPD, you get this in other disorders as well. But you can go from really caring about somebody to really hating somebody in a very short amount of time.
Hmm.
And you might split on your therapist.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
can create sometimes like that, contribute to that stigma.
Hmm. And can a trigger be, say, a therapist responding in a way that reminds someone of an experience of harm? Like, could that, even if it's like likening it to it, even though it's not that, but in that moment, it feels like the hands on the burner. It's hot, and it feels like, whoa, that's similar.
I have been triggered so many times by
Yeah.
therapists.
Yeah. Fair
So
enough.
many times I have blown up my life from
Yeah.
therapists
Yeah.
telling me like, "Well, you know what? This is going to happen." And it's like, well, this is going to happen. This is real. My therapist told me they're they're so much smarter than me. I trust them. You've just fed me, a trigger that is just like so close to my heart. You've given me like the thing I'm probably the most terrified of in my life. And I'm just going to run with it because like, you get that impulsive problem, where you're just like, impulsiveness and stuff like that, you're like, I need to do something about this right now. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
so fired up. I need to do something about this right now. And that's somebody that, hasn't been through something like DBT and doesn't have these skills to sort of recognize
Mhm.
that it's like when you're fired up, that's
Mhm.
the time to stop.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, when you don't have that extra sort of training and those tools, you look at that and you think, I'm fired up. It's time to act. I'm gonna
Mhm.
blow up everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. But yeah, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet.
counselors are a little trigger factor.
I bet, yeah.
Sometimes.
So that makes it tougher to even want to reach out and access different services and supports because sometimes it
God,
feels like a
yeah.
roll of the dice, right? Helping yourself is, okay, try this medication. Woof, that's not working for me. Call the crisis line or start counseling with a new counselor. All of that takes tenacity, it takes a willingness,
Right.
it takes courage, it takes I believe self-love because there's a part of you that is like, "Okay, let's try something else to help her," because there is love there, even though it might be like it feels like it's under a pile of papers or something, but
Mhm.
it's there because you're showing up time and time again, and that's not nothing. That is worth noticing because the unfortunate thing about any mental illness or disorder or symptomology or anything like that is that there is no magic wand. There is no one stop shop pill. It's not something like diabetes where we've pretty much hammered down the treatment plan. We know what can be preventative. We know what can help lifestyle factor wise. We know insulin is what we need. That is kind of mapped out. That's not the circumstance with mental health, mental illness and everything in between. And so it can certainly take a toll on the individual accessing supports.
I've had
Yeah.
plenty of counselors
Yeah.
that have literally been so
Yeah.
wonderful, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I've had both. Absolutely had both.
But that's
So,
just for every profession. Let's just be so for real for a second.
oh my God, they're human like
Every
everybody else.
Uh-huh, right, and there's people that are, just it's not their jam, and they chose it for whatever reason, and it could be any job. That could be a tattoo artist, that could be a hairstylist, that could be a
Sure.
therapist, a law enforcement officer, a teacher, a coach, the list goes on. It's like, "Huh, this really isn't your thing, but you're
Well,
doing
not
it."
yeah, and not to mention, like, I might trigger my therapist, you
Sure.
know? Like, I might
Mhm.
trigger my therapist, like, all the time, and then they're gonna, reflect that back on me and all kinds of stuff. Like, I mean, we all affect each other.
And we're not for everyone. Like, we just aren't.
No.
I'm not the therapist for everyone. I'm not.
No.
I'm gonna be for some people and not for others, and that's okay. And that's my work to do in accepting that. That's my own experience.
I would hate to see what you would look like if you were for everyone. That'd be
Oh,
terrifying.
well,
I'm
how could you
absolutely not
be,
for everyone. Holy crap.
right? We can't
Yeah.
be. We can't be. There's only so much time in the day. All right, so a question about we're talking, I know, still a little bit about stigma, but what do you so this is perfect actually. What do you wish therapists, but also partners as well as parents understood before they meet someone with this diagnosis? What do you want those people to know, the loved ones of and the therapist of?
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
We're not scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're scary. That's not true.
Yeah. We can
I
all
think
be scared
everybody's a
though.
little scary sometimes.
Yeah.
But we're not just little chaos demons,
Mm,
trying to get in there and manipulate everything and,
right.
just sort of get what we want. I guess I would just say, yeah, like, please don't be scared. We're a whole person. We're
Mhm.
not just this thing,
Mhm.
not just this acronym.
Mhm.
Um, there's there's a really caring, sensitive, sweet person under there, and we're doing our best. We're doing our best, and don't give up.
Don't give
You
up.
know, be hopeful, be patient, keep trying.
Mhm.
Um, you know, chances are we've given up on ourselves way before you could ever give up on us.
Mhm.
Um, like, just, yeah, keep trying. But definitely, on the other side of things, I would always say, like, make sure that you absolutely take care of yourself. going down that road with somebody with BPD, it's a bumpy road. It's a roller coaster. Those things are gonna happen, and you've gotta know what you're getting into, and you've gotta be you gotta be prepared for that ride. Hopefully, the ride will get better. Hopefully, it'll smooth out over time. It depends on where you meet somebody, right? Like, they might be at the beginning of their journey. They might be, a lot further along, but yeah, just, try to stay hopeful, try to stay positive, and also, like, absolutely maintain your boundaries. Absolutely don't take abusive behavior. Call somebody out on that kind of stuff. Like, people need boundaries, and we need boundaries. We absolutely do. Like, we wanna be better if we're behaving badly, like, it's just like anybody, right?
Yeah.
Um, and also take it seriously. Like, if somebody says that they don't feel that they're safe with themselves, take it seriously. They're probably not crying wolf. Like like, I think the statistics are what? You're like 40 to 50% more likely to try and complete a suicide when you have PPD. It's life it can be life-threatening. And yeah, so please, take it seriously. Obviously, there are some people that are on this really other end of the spectrum that might use something like that to get attention and things like that. But it's like, it's still just better to take it all very seriously if you can.
Yes.
Take this
Yes.
person's pain seriously, but look after yourself, you know. Like,
Mhm.
yes, this person has a very serious, mental health disorder. It's one of the worst ones. Absolutely take care of yourself. Make sure that you have that good support group. You have a good support system and you take care of yourself and you realize when you are at your limit, when you are at capacity. And that's okay. It's totally okay to get burned out, because like a person with BPD, you can burn somebody out pretty fast with that. And they need limits and they're good, they're healthy,
Mhm. Yeah, it's healthy to
you
have
know.
those limits and those
It,
boundaries, and
absolutely.
communicating those, I think, is invaluable, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
here are my
But
limits, boundaries, and I'm leading with love. I want to be here for you," if
oh
that's
my God.
true.
Yes, we
If
need
that's
love so bad. God,
right.
we need love, you know?
Yeah. I think communicating that reality and a big thing, and this is just general advice for anyone out there who is supporting anyone with, honestly, anything that's going on, whether that
I
is
think
a
so.
chronic illness, if that is a life-threatening illness, if that is mental illness, whatever it is that you are not responsible to heal that person. You do not have to have the healing answers. You don't need that's not you. That's not on you. You are complementing whatever healing journey they're on. And so take that pressure off yourself from being the person to solve all the problems. You
Oh my
doesn't
God. No,
mean,
you do
you
not
know,
have to solve it. Yeah, no.
you can certainly do some hand holding while the
Yeah.
problems are being figured out, for sure. Just being a steady presence goes a really long way, and it takes the pressure off the caregiver or the loved one, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So I'm sure you've heard of this. There's the three C's of a boundary setting for
Mhm.
for people that are
Yep.
with somebody with
Lay it
borderline
on us.
personality disorder. One, I didn't cause it. Two, I can't cure it. And three, I can't control it. It
That's great.
doesn't mean you can't love them anyways, but like
Yeah.
you cannot take on that
Yeah.
responsibility.
Mhm. That's how you'll avoid burnout if you don't take on that responsibility.
Oh yeah.
You show up in the ways that you can, and then it's authentic as well, and
Hmm.
resentment is avoided, for sure.
Yep. You hit your limit, it's okay to have your limit. You reach your
Mhm.
capacity, you've reached it. It's okay. The whole
Mhm.
point is that this is a whole functioning person and more often than not, they are going to be okay. They might not
Mhm.
feel like they're going to be okay. I mean, trust me, there are times when I just felt like I was dying, but like I knew I was going to be okay. And it does pass. It all passes. Like they are feelings, they're not facts. They are
Right.
gonna pass, and even if this person, like, is going through these big feelings, like, that is their reality, and they're gonna get through it. They're strong. They're a lot stronger than you think, you
Mhm.
know? They've
Mhm.
been through a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned earlier that, you know, that message to loved ones, they should know that we're trying to get better. We're doing our best and we are trying to get better. And what would you say that that means? Like the trying to get better piece, what does that look like day to day?
Well, for those of us that are trying to get better, I would love to say that everybody with BPD is trying
Yeah.
to get better. There's plenty of people that are just riding that coaster and they're
Yeah.
like, "Woohoo!" But anyways, but yes, for those of us that are like actively trying to get better,
Yeah, what could that look like on the daily or weekly or monthly for that matter? Like, what is trying to get
trying to
better?
get
How does
better.
that
Oh
show
my
up?
God. Trying to get better. Every day trying to get better is it could be masking. It could be masking so that you can keep your job. It could be masking so that you can, maintain, your friendships or your relationships or so that you can be effective. If you're on your healing journey and you have done DBT, it is the most, recommended treatment for
Yes.
BPD. And a big part of the healing after going through a program like that is yeah, it's like it's using your tools. It's being aware of what's going on in your body. So that's all the mindfulness and stuff like that that they teach you. But
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of it is like sort of like really trying to sort of identify what you're experiencing, where it is in your body, figure out where it came from, stuff like that, because you're always going to be flooded with those feelings. There's never a day that you wake up and you're not flooded, with that stuff. Like, yeah, you might have a pretty like decent day and stuff like that. But I know my personal experience, I was always emotional. Every day I was emotional.
Mhm.
Um, but healing is saying like, I'm not going to let this take over.
Mm,
You know, yeah, this is telling me to do something. I'm gonna put a stop. I'm gonna put a stop
right,
there. I'm gonna put a pause. Like
right.
when we talk about emotional regulation, it's just like the most basic way that I could explain it to people when I talk about regulating your emotions, which is like the biggest part of handling BPD.
Mhm.
I would say is it's just putting a pause between your reaction and your action.
Yes.
If you need to make it nice and simple so you can remember it, just putting that pause in there, just giving yourself that time and taking a step away from it, doing
Mhm.
whatever you got to
Yes.
do to get that time.
Right. And that is one of the emotional regulation is one of the pillars of DBT, which is dialectical
Is
behavior therapy. And it is,
absolutely.
as Susie mentioned, the most researched and recommended modality for anyone diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and beyond. Like this is a DBT has a ton of great pieces to it, and like I said, four pillars that are really suitable for any and everyone.
Oh my
Because
God.
it covers,
Everybody,
yeah, and
everybody.
some people who are perhaps already on a bit of a healing journey in any capacity, you might open up or Google DBT in this moment, and you'll be like, "Huh, I'm doing some of this. This is not total far out information. This is really applicable stuff that you can do on a daily basis because there's
Absolutely.
mindfulness. Yeah, mindfulness and mindful awareness is the one, emotional regulation, interpersonal effectiveness, and then distress tolerance. We need all of those things. Everyone does, right? So, but DBT is a really cool modality because it is often, not always, but it is offered in groups. And that can be a really neat space to kind of play in the sandbox with some of these pillars and the elements within them.
Yeah. Oh my
Mhm.
God. Life changing.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. I really am because it can take a ton of courage to go to a group. People are not ready to go to group tomorrow. For that matter, people are not ready to call a therapist tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like having access to these programs, knowing about these programs, knowing how to access these programs, and
Hmm.
it can be just these small things that can really get in the way of people receiving that help. And and that kind of thing is like it's taken me how long? I mean, I've had my diagnosis over 10 years.
Hmm.
I never heard about these programs,
Right.
right? Like I heard about it by accident when I was doing an intake for another program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, it's one of those things, but it's like, yeah, it was accessible, it was free, and and yeah, absolutely it was total game changer.
Mhm.
But that's when I started
Awesome.
to get better.
I love to hear that. And you deserve that, right?
Well, right? Like, maybe, yeah, maybe you could start on your path to feeling like you deserve to get better,
That's just, hey, that's it. One
right?
foot on the path is still a foot on the path. So, um,
Absolutely. Good old
in
good ol
those groups, you were meeting lots of people, obviously, or a group of people nonetheless. And so, and perhaps throughout, this 10-year journey, otherwise, you've met other folks with BPD. What have they been able to teach you about yourself?
like, meeting other people with BPD,
Yeah, what if they taught you about yourself, wherever they are on their journey?
well, they taught me that I'm not as scary as I thought. I didn't have to be ashamed to be my full self with them.
Mhm.
Um, like, yeah, hearing about other people with BPD, like, even reading Marsha Linehan's story was pretty big. You end up talking about her a lot. And yeah, it just I don't know, it was really encouraging. Like, I don't know, it's hard to think, like, what did they teach me about myself? I guess they taught me I didn't have to be so hidden.
Yeah.
I didn't have to hide with them. We could kind of make jokes about it a
Mhm.
little bit. We could kind of joke around about our PPD,
Yeah.
and it didn't feel so life threatening with
Yeah,
them,
that's cool.
and to see other people that were trying really hard to get better and make their lives better is really encouraging.
Mhm.
It's really encouraging, and they validate you all the time, right? They're always validating, encouraging, these, like, very positive. They give you all the space,
Mhm.
um, to sort of, like, be wherever you're at. We don't all have to be in a good mood all the time. We don't always have to be getting better.
Mhm.
Um, they show up for all of it, and these are people that, it's like, I didn't really get to know that well, but it's like they just showed up for me in such a complete way. I was so grateful, and, yeah, we're still in contact, and I'm so grateful that I've had
Awesome.
access to that. Yeah, it's I don't know. And it
It's
can
great.
kind of sort of let you know where you're at as well by kind of seeing where they're at, where you can kind of
Mhm.
see, like, "Oh, you know what? I feel like I used to relate to this kind of thing more, and now I feel like I kinda relate to this thing more," and it's like you can kind of gauge yourself a bit. But anyways,
That makes sense. Yeah, so it gives you a little bit of a frame of reference as well as company, right? And just non-judgmental
solidarity,
company. Yeah. What you
solidarity,
ask
which
for,
is
right?
hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. What would you say over these 10 years, like, what does a good day look like now versus years ago?
Oh my god. Yeah, I was laughing about this yesterday. It's like, a good day now. Holy shit. Good day is waking up and not feeling sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting out of bed and just thinking about what I wanna do with my day. My life circumstances haven't changed that much. Feeling hopeful, keeping a more positive mindset about myself, about my recovery, about my life, thinking that my life can be different, quieting that really negative voice that lives inside me all the time. That's a really good day. A really good day is when that voice is quiet or when that voice pipes up and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like it's there, but it's not loud.
It doesn't
There's a
rule, it's not running the show.
Oh my god, it's not running the show. Yeah, no, it's like that little heckler, but, like,
In the
um,
back corner.
that heckler is way at the back now. Like, that heckler used to be on the stage with
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
right? It
Wow,
used to
such a
share
good
the stage,
analogy. Yeah.
right? It's like, yeah,
And
it
nosebleeds.
it's grabbing the microphone. Holy shit, that heckler had me, and it
Yeah.
had me up until, like, I would say even a couple months ago. Yeah,
So
like
you'd say that DBT group really was, it sounds pivotal in terms of timing.
It really started to turn things around, and then I hate to say it, but yeah, once the medication kind of got,
Mhm.
sort of like worked out, that was that was huge. The heckler got so quiet after that. But like years ago, my good day was like, I didn't have a meltdown today. I went to work today. I fed myself today. Maybe I showered today. Maybe I talked to a friend and maybe I felt okay about myself for like a couple hours today. That's a pretty good day, right? Like,
I'm so happy for
now
you.
it's like,
Really, I'm so happy. Truly,
yeah,
to hear that
dude,
contrast. I'm so proud of you. So
oh my
happy
God.
for you.
Now it's like I haven't had a meltdown in what, like almost a week?
Mhm.
It's like days without episodes. Like, I always call it the Hulk, where it's like, like how many days without another episode,
Yeah.
without incident? How many days without incident? And it's like,
Yeah.
I used to get nervous if I hadn't had a meltdown. It's like you're just waiting for that shoe to drop, and I would drop it. I would drop it because I couldn't wait anymore. I'd
Right.
freak out.
You
My
want it to
anxiety
be
would take over,
full.
and I'd freak out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And so there it is. Susie
couldn't deal
Hulk.
with the stability. If I ever did feel it, I had to have that instability
Right.
to feel right.
'Cause it was familiar and it was predictable. Even like that sounds like an oxymoron, hey, but there was
So
something
so common
predictable
though,
about it.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, anybody that's
So
like grown up in a traumatic environment and stuff like that, it's like they need that chaos. That
mhm.
feels really like it feels awful, but it feels right. I know how to live in that. I know how to be
Mhm.
sad. Being
Yeah.
happy makes me uncomfortable,
Do
makes me
that to hold her
nervous.
feel that. Right.
When is
Right.
it going to end? How long do I get it? When does it go back to being hell? Because that's what it was like, like it's like living in hell, you know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
sounds pretty dire, but
Well, it's what it sounds like. It sounds like what it is. That's your description of it. That's your experience with it. That's the whole thing about this, our time together today is this is your experience and your story.
oh my
It,
God. I
doesn't
know
have to
I feel
stand in
bad.
any
I
way.
don't want to paint such a dire picture of things, but it's like I did love life, I loved
Mhm.
life, but I've been suicidal for 20 years. I love life. I love ice cream. I love my cats.
Yeah.
I love watching the flowers grow and stuff like that. It's like I love it. I couldn't stand the pain anymore.
Right.
That was it. And I didn't want to put it on anybody else. And it kept getting on other people. And when you care about people, it's like you just you just want to take yourself away from everybody and keep them safe. I push so many people away.
And that's typically how we look at suicidality and understanding it is that it's not necessarily always a want to end life. It's to end pain. And it is
Absolutely.
a permanent fix, right? To as you mentioned earlier, at times a temporary problem. This is
Hmm.
these feelings will pass. They are heavy and
They
hard, but we are
do.
stronger. And that is your truth as evidenced by being here and now and living what sounds like a life that you're really pleased with and proud of. And of course there are moments that are, hard and not rosy and all that. That's true
Yeah.
across the board, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a different.
Marsha always called it like building a life worth living.
What would you say to someone if someone listening were to be diagnosed today? What do you want to say to them?
It's not a death sentence. Um, you're not a monster. Um, you can still have a life. Things can be different. I know that it feels like it's just gonna go on forever, but like it's gonna pass. You know, all like the feelings always pass, and I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I try to imagine, like a kid. I just try to imagine
Mhm.
like a teenager getting diagnosed now and being like, I know it sucks. It really sucks. And, and you must have been through a lot to get here.
Hmm.
Um, but that means that you're really strong because you got here. And I didn't think I would make it past 20, and I made it another 20 years. And it didn't mean that I didn't always kind of wish it would stop. I did, but it's like keep going. And I would tell them about the programs and things like that. I mean, I know they're gonna make their own choices and stuff like that, but it would just be like things can look so different. You are not stuck and you are not trapped. You're never trapped here. Okay? Like you can be hopeful for yourself. You don't have to give up on yourself and you're not a burden.
Beautifully said, truly. And if someone out there, BPD or otherwise, was experiencing thoughts and feelings of suicidality, would there be a message that you want them to hear?
Well, unfortunately one of I mean, he was kind of I would say he was a friend. Yeah, and he completed suicide a year this March. And oh my God, the things I would have said to him.
Yeah.
He was lovely, so talented, so sweet, so smart, and he was so real. Such a real person. Like he was just like immediately he drew you in, and he was really special. It's really special. That's something that I noticed. It's like just so many special people, and I would just ask him to to like just don't you got to get out of the like you got to see past the dark place, man. You don't have to live there. You don't have to build a home there. Like I know you don't want to look at the other stuff. I know you feel comfortable here, but like, it's okay to get help. It's okay to want to feel better. It's okay to not just think, well, it's better for everybody else. It's
Right.
not. It's not better for everybody else if you're not here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's not better without you,
Right. Right.
right? Like we're going to miss you. We're going to
Yeah.
miss you so much. So many people in your life love you, and they're going to be crushed to lose a special person like you. And we can't see it. Like none of us can see it. I could never see it. Anytime I was there, I was always like, nope, nope, absolutely. Everybody will be better off without me. Nobody will even notice. And it takes having people in your life being like, no, dude, like I need you here. And I would tell that person like, you are needed here. You have so many chances left to turn this around, and it's completely possible. It's completely possible. Um,
Absolutely.
like 50% of people recover.
Amazing.
It's
Wow.
not a yeah, it's not a life sentence, but you can't, you can't give up on yourself like that. Like anything, I would have done anything to help him see his worth.
Yeah. I think that's a really strong, powerful message. I'm so sorry to hear that. And, we carry those people forward with us. We carry them in our hearts and we carry their stories and the lessons for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for
He's a
sharing that.
he's a waste.
There.
He's
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, of course. So just a couple more questions before we wrap up. And that would be, what about someone who loves a person with BPD? What would you say to them? What do they need to hear and know?
Thanks. You know, thanks for giving it a chance.
Yeah.
Thanks for being brave. Thanks for taking yeah, like just taking that chance on somebody that it's going to be hard.
Mhm.
We're going to be hard, but I mean, everybody's hard in their own way, right? Like we're coming with a different set of problems, but
Absolutely.
everybody does.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Loving
yeah,
loving someone comes with their stuff, right? And we've
they
all got
do.
stuff. Sure
They
do.
do. But yeah, I think I would ask them to, be knowledgeable,
Yeah.
learn about
Learn,
it.
read, learn, ask
Absolutely. Oh my
questions.
God.
Yes.
Learn,
Yes.
ask questions, ask about my experience. Tell me about your experience. 100%. Like, I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know what you're
Mhm.
going through.
Mhm.
Um, absolutely educate yourself, Don't just sort of sit back and be like, "Oh, have you got that fixed yet?" It's like it's
Right.
probably not going to get fixed.
Right.
Um,
Vulnerability goes both ways, right? So be
right?
vulnerable with curious questions. There's no expectation to know everything. And if you've got stuff going on internally, look at that too, right? If
Yeah.
that everyone has something. So if
We
we
do.
can
We
be
all
candid,
something.
right? We can be
Um,
candid. It can be something that brings us closer together, really.
yeah. Like be patient, be empathetic, be kind, and please try to accept that no matter how unlikely it might seem, this is this person's reality.
Hmm.
And it deserves to be validated as a real experience because, they still got to go through all those feelings. Appreciate that it is difficult for this person to,
Hmm.
to just go around and live their normal life, you know, like they might make it look easy, but it's not, right? Like appreciate that, like, they're doing something that terrifies them all the time,
Right.
you know?
Right.
I don't know. I
No,
feel
that's
like I
great.
should have better advice. I feel
What
like
are
I
you
should have better
talking about?
advice from
That
somebody.
was
I
so
don't know.
nicely said. That was really
Yeah.
wonderfully. Yeah.
All right, all
Totally.
right. Just be
Totally.
like, just make sure you have a lot of ice cream. A lot of ice cream in the house. If they can't do dairy, okay, figure out something else. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, like definitely you're gonna need a
Get
lot of
that go-to
something.
treat available, whatever that is,
Get
that
that,
that
yeah, get that thing available. Maybe don't come down too hard on them for smoking if they smoke. They probably
yeah,
need something.
there's
Um,
something that they wanna control a little bit, hey?
something. I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like keep your boundaries. Make sure that you got your friends.
Mhm,
Um, Make sure you got somebody to talk to about your
mhm,
experience if you feel like you don't necessarily want to talk to your partner about it. Don't shut yourself in with it. You know, like this person has BPD doesn't mean you get to have BPD, you know? So, but like, yeah, just try to, like, I don't know, come at them with love. Try not to come at them with judgment. You know, they're doing their best. Everybody's
mhm,
doing their best.
mhm. And so, Susie, what do you believe about yourself now that you did not a few years ago?
Oh, man. Well, like a few years ago, I thought I was pretty hopeless. I left a long-term relationship to go and be alone, and I said I would never date anybody ever again because I never wanted to do what I did to that person to another person. I felt so bad about myself. I was so ashamed of how mean I had been, of how I had treated them. I didn't understand anything. I didn't have any tools. I had nothing, and so I kind of was giving up hope on myself. I thought I was a really lost cause, and it was better to just keep myself away from everybody. And then I gave things another chance, and I gave my life another chance. And honestly, it's been one thing after another. I don't know. Yeah, it's been one thing after another. It's like getting these programs, getting that help, having that turnaround, finding a good, combination for meds. Like the questions, what would I tell myself?
No, what do you believe now that you
or
didn't
what do I
believe a few
believe
years
now?
ago? Yeah, like
Sorry. Oh
you
my God,
look.
the ADHD.
No,
It's
you're good.
real.
You're
It's
good.
real.
We have been chatting for an hour, so
Okay.
you know,
Um,
what do you believe about
yeah.
yourself a few years ago? You would have been like, no.
Oh my God. You know what? I believe my life has potential again. I believe that I can be hopeful. I believe everything is going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And there is this real possibility of remission and recovery. I might be able to have a normal life. I know we don't like to use the word normal. So let's say I might be able to have a life that really feels good.
Yeah,
I
I
wake
love
up
that.
and I feel good in
Yeah,
this life, and I want to
awesome.
be here.
Yeah,
Like that's what I want is I want to wake up and I know I want to still be here.
and that's believable now.
I don't, yeah, I absolutely don't. I don't want to leave.
Wow.
And I wanted to leave every day sometimes.
Hmm. Hmm. And
Yeah.
that's singing a different tune now. Hey.
It's like, yeah, the best way I could have described it was looking kind of on the outside of it at this
Hmm.
point compared to being sucked into it. Like, you know, yeah, like living in the dark place.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I totally feel like I've pulled myself out of it.
So proud of you. So much love for you, Susie. I can't like smiling ear to ear right now, and people can't
Yeah.
see that.
Oh, Alex,
Yeah.
dude, I love you too.
Oh
I love you
man,
too. Thank
this
you so much for spending time with me and
my
wanting to talk to
pleasure.
me about this.
My privilege. Truly.
Well, mine too. Absolutely
Truly.
mine too.
Yeah. This has just filled my cup to share this space with you and to hear from you and to hear even like a little bit more and a little just get some curious answers out into the world for people who really might be not sure where to start. And you were so willing and so vulnerable. And yeah, really with such deep gratitude. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you so much, Alex. You are a gift. You are a gift, man. I'm
Am
so
happy
happy
to
that you're
be,
here.
I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here along for all the rides.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Here You Are. If any part of this conversation resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Subscribe, leave a review, send me a message, or share this story with someone who might need to hear it. Wherever you are on your journey, just remember that you are not alone. Keep exploring, keep showing up, and until next time, take care.